Hello, friends, and welcome back to the new episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. Today we have two more great news stories, and let's get started with a little story about a crazy Karen. Lady insists I open a business I don't work for. Okay, as I stated in another post, the store I managed was connected to a McDonald's. One holiday when they were closed, I happened to be working, not happily, as I was supposed to be off holidays, but someone called in, so I'm busy stocking some items when I hear it, the huff of a wild Karen, preparing to work itself into a tizzy. Excuse me, there's supposed to be a red box in this location. Keep in mind, I'm not in the best of moods already, and this was said in the snottiest tone imaginable. Keeping an incredibly strange smile on my face, I tell her, yes, there's one over in the McDonald's. Here's where I committed my cardinal sin. Not usually working on the holidays, I had the audacity to forget they weren't open today. Q B mode level 9000. Ugh. Obviously, since it's not in here, could you go open the door so I can return my video? Now, fully cognizant of the issue, I take a deep mental breath and tell her, I'm sorry, no, I don't have the keys to their doors. They're a separate business. Initiate hypersonic Karen screech. Bullcrap! You're supposed to be employed by the same company. You're in the same damn building. Further attempts at reasonably explaining this fall on deaf ears. At some point, I have to take a break from trying to translate logic into crazy to check out a customer. At this point, Karen tells me, you can ignore me all you like. I'm not leaving until you help me. Being a helpful sort of fellow, I nod amiably and begin to write on a piece of paper, handing it to her after I finish. What the hell is this? Well, you said you wouldn't leave until I helped you. Given your complete lack of ability to listen to reason, I figured out your true problem, and I'm trying to help. Those are the directions to Centerpoint Hospital. They're great at dealing with mental illness or substance abuse, whichever your issue is. At this point, Karen lets out a screech like a, I don't think anything in nature has ever made a sound like that. I want to speak to your manager! Okay, let me get him. I walk into the back room, walk back out again, and say, what seems to be the problem? She's now sputtering incoherently and storms out the door spewing invectives, and what I can only presume were threats to contact corporate and get me fired. Bye, Karen. Don't come again. The fun part is, even if you're crazy enough to believe that the customer's always right, Karen was not your customer. And our second story. Another one bites the dust. It's long, and it's my first rodeo. Little backstory. I'm a painter. Not a house painter, someone who paints on canvases. I paint landscapes and only landscapes, and I've been doing it for a few years now. I get my paints from a hobby store that has just about everything and is a well-known local store that changed hands in the last couple years. All spelling errors, formatting errors, and story errors are mine and mine alone, so forgive me. On the day this story is about, I was in my usual cargo shorts, which I wear year-round, even when there's snow outside. Tennis shoes and a nice pullover shirt. Think fancy tee with a collar. Oh, and I'm like 60-ish. I hadn't had a haircut in months and also hadn't shaved in like a week, so I was rather scruffy looking. Think a clean homeless guy with clean clothes, and that a big thing with my wife is that she insists that I don't leave the house looking like I've lived in my clothes for a week. As you might guess, I'm a messy painter and tend to get paint on my clothes, so I change into something clean and without any rips or tears before leaving the house. I was looking at some brushes on an end cap, that part of the shelves at each end of the aisle, when this woman clears her throat. Now I get stuff in my throat and have a rattle sound when clearing it, so my brain just filtered out the sound, and I moved a little to one side and closer to the end cap in case I was in the way. Once again came that throaty sound like a frog choking on an oversized cricket while trying to sing. This time I look at the source of the sound and find a woman, maybe 5'2", a little thick with short fake blonde hair. I think the ladies call it a bob, a cart with some plastic plant foam bricks in it and raised eyebrows. Now the uniform here is black pants and a store polo shirt of any number of colors. Oh, and each and every employee has a black apron on except for management. It's a pretty good-sized store and the only one of its kind for an hour or two in any direction. So the store monopolizes the region. Cheaper prices can be found in the big city, but that's almost 2 hours away, and by the time you've spent the gas to get there and back, you've not really saved a whole lot. Now that you know the backstory, the scene played out like this. Me, old gnome-looking guy. CL is Crazy Lady. The assistant manager is Judy, and the manager is Katie. Me. Is there something wrong with your throat? I ask, a little concerned. No, there's nothing wrong with my throat. What is wrong with you just standing there instead of helping paying customers? Ah, I said, instantly recognizing the Karen in the wild from the many tales I've heard over the years. You think I work here? No, duh. I see you in here all the time. I know you work here. I'm in here because I buy things. Yeah, and the other day I saw you get an employee discount, so I absolutely know you work here, so help me find my stuff. I smile faintly. Stuff? Oh, you need to go to the stuff mart. I nearly doubled over with laughter as her brow became a maze of lines as her 2 working brain cells spun crazily inside her cranium trying to figure out Stuff Mart and whether there actually might be a place called Stuff Mart or if I was just pulling her leg. Then she waved her hand through the air as if clearing it of smoke and said, "Never mind. You help me now." I looked down at my cargo shorts and then said, "Okay, for the sake of argument, let's say I do work here. Obviously, I'm not wearing the proper uniform, so this must be my day off. And such that would mean that I'm not working today. So tell me again, why would I help you if I'm not working today?" "Because you work here," she screeched and stomped her foot. But don't even the peons get days off? Days when they don't have to work? Now with a really screeching voice, the Crazy Lady yells, "If you don't help me right this minute, I'm going to get you fired." Then came the mantra of all Karens, "Get me your manager." I could hear the clippity-clop of dress shoes clattering across the tiled floor at warp speed, and knew help would soon arrive. I reached over and picked up a paintbrush and said, "This is a paintbrush, you know. These fine bristles are all natural and can help you bring your painting to life." CL looked at me with wide eyes and mouth wide open and prepared for the early arrival of many flying insects should they happen to be landing, and this brought on a 2-foot stomp. "What are you babbling about? I want you to find my things," she shouted just as Judy and Katie rounded the corner of an aisle to see what all the shouting was about. Me. "Oh, but where do you suppose they could be?" I feigned innocence. Judy spoke first. What's going on here?" Before life on this earth could draw a single breath, CL let out a string of, "This stupid crap of a worker won't help me. He's been rude to me, attacked me with that paintbrush, and I want the manager, and I want him fired for being too stupid to be working. They should have laws about people being too stupid to have jobs. I want my things found, and I want them for free for dealing with such an incompetent imbecile. I know the owner, and he'll fire all of you if you don't help me." Judy looked back at me, then covered her mouth with her hand and turned her face to keep from laughing. Katie, who's in her 40s and looks to be in her 20s, suppressed a chuckle and walked right up to me. She ran her finger down my cheek and said, "You know, if you stay a little while, I might take you home with me. We could have a lot of fun, you and I." "What?" cried CL, whose face went beet red and she took a step back from her cart while Judy ran off doing her best not to laugh. That sounds like an employee discount I want to explore," I said, seeing the knowing look in Katie's eyes. "Oh my hell, what's going on here?" CL screamed as though she was watching a murder being committed right in front of her. Are you serious? You, I want someone to call the owner right now, right this damned minute. This kind of behavior will not be tolerated in this store. I'll have you both fired right damn now." Katie and I are about the same height, and when Katie kissed my ear, Crazy Lady just started hopping around like a mad rabbit, stomping both her feet onto the floor. The gal on the register and Judy came rushing to us. Judy, with the store phone, said she was calling the owner. CL grabbed the phone out of Judy's hand and was running in circles waiting for the call to go through. Then Katie's phone rang. "Don't you go anywhere," she purred to me. Katie answered the phone while looking CL dead in the eyes. "Yeah, I'm the manager, and I'm the owner. And yeah, this is my husband. And you know what? I don't want your business. I don't want you in my store. I don't want to sell you anything, and I don't want your money. I do ban you, and I will ban anyone and everyone who's rude to one of my employees, and you are banned. You will leave, or I will call the police and have you arrested for accosting my husband. Oh yeah, he gets an employee discount because I'm the owner, and I can give that discount to anyone I choose." Oh, the Crazy Lady was having none of this. "Oh, this is BS. You just called her cell. I want the owner, and I want the owner here now." Katie looked at Judy and asked, "Have you called them yet?" "Yeah," Judy said. "They're on their way." A minute went by with the Crazy Lady stomping on the ground, when two of our local officers came around the end aisle. Both officers knew Katie and Judy, as they often got stuff for their wives on the way home from their shift, so they rushed the crazy lady just as she threw the phone at me, hitting me in the chest. Both of the police officers were of the family pack variety and stood well over 6 foot. They manhandled the crazy lady pretty easily and got handcuffs on her. One took her outside, and Katie told the other that she just wanted her trespassed, and knowing my wife, like everybody in town does, they didn't even ask me if I wanted to press charges. Katie was the boss, and what she says goes. I took Katie around the waist and said, "You can be quite the vixen when you want to be, can't you?" She looked at me with soft eyes and said, "Nobody messes with my husband, except me, and in my own store to boot." Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.